enter the United States. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Also in Kenya, 8 female students have been arrested, suspected of arson in yesterday's fire at a girls' boarding school that killed 16 children, injured 79 others. In Dallas, Texas, they're searching for any more victims of an apartment building explosion.
We responded to a gas leak, reported gas leak. Our first responders, while they were en route to that gas leak, a subsequent explosion occurred.
Dallas Fire and Rescue Deputy Chief Mark Berry, at least 3 people were killed, 5 others injured. On Wall Street, could be another record day. Stock futures are rising the morning after the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 closed at all-time highs. In the NBA playoffs, the Spurs force a Game 7. Victor Wembanyama scored 28 points to lead San Antonio past Oklahoma City 118-91 on NBC. The Spurs and defending champion Thunder play one more time tomorrow. The winner will face the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
News Talk 710 KURV. Broadcasting from the Valley's All-American Truck Headquarters studio at PayneAutomall.com.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. This is the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with show producer Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina, going to show up in about 3 minutes to tell us how hot it's going to be today and this weekend. Check the next chance of rain. And it's a Friday. And that means Movie Mom Nel Mino coming up in just a little bit later this hour. See if there's anything good at the box office. What's the big movie this weekend? Oh, that's right. Is it like He-Man? Oh, that's next week, right? What is it? Oh, that's right. It's George of the Jungle fighting World War II, D-Day, right? Yeah, Brendan Fraser. Okay, that's coming up in about 15 minutes to the next hour on the Valley's Morning News. Big news from UTRGV. Researchers at our medical school say that they have made a discovery that could help with the early diagnosis of a degenerative disease, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. The research from UTRGV School of Medicine has reportedly discovered a biomarker that signals damage to motor neurons. So this biomarker can be detected in urine samples once it is released from the damaged cell. And yeah, the researchers say the discovery could lead to early detection of ALS. At 7 minutes after the hour on the Valley's Morning News. This note from Raymondville. A woman has been detained after the death of a baby. Police were called to a home where investigators say an 8-month-old child died under suspicious circumstances. Several people have been detained or are being questioned. An autopsy of the baby has been ordered. 7 minutes after the hour on the Valley's Morning News. West of us in Laredo, that area of the state, again, becoming a hotbed for human smuggling.
Area of a semi-truck on I-35, including 4 months just this week. Texas DPS says a Mexican national was arrested in Webb County after troopers found 20 illegal immigrants hidden inside the sleeping area of a semi-truck on I-35, including 4 minors from Mexico and Guatemala. The driver allegedly tried to run, but was quickly taken into custody. And we learned exclusively of a stash house with 41 illegal immigrants inside. The agency is saying that the federal prosecution for these stash house operators has been secured. HSI is the one handling the investigation alongside Border Patrol and Texas DPS.
That's reporter Ali Bradley. It's 8 minutes after the hour on the Valley's Morning News. Folks who are watching the water situation in Texas, local leaders, county, state leaders, warning that very heavy rain in some parts of Texas does not solve the state's prolonged water shortage crisis.
During a public hearing Wednesday on the draft 2027 state water plan, officials discussed how Texas could need $174 billion in water projects over the next 50 years to keep up with demand. One growing concern is the rapid expansion of AI data centers statewide. New research from the University of Texas says data centers could account for as much as 9% of Texas water usage by 2040. Researchers say the industry currently uses less than 1%, but demand is expected to climb sharply as Texas continues to attract large technology projects.
That's reporter Christian Yates. Coming up after our conversation with AccuWeather, how one airport in Texas is one of less than a handful of airports in the nation designated to take in folks from certain African regions affected by Ebola. And we'll talk about that after AccuWeather. Meantime, I want to say thank you Dougie and all the gang at Martin Farm and Ranch for providing us AccuWeather. Grow them right this spring. Your herd, your pets with Purina certified feed from Martin Farm and Ranch. Also, a shout out, big thank you to all the gang from Rivera's Machinery on the Expressway and Donna. They provide us AccuWeather as well. Best service, warranty, and price for the long haul, Rivera's Machinery. AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina bringing the heat today. Beach weather for the weekend. I was taking a look at AccuWeather.com. So what do you say midweek next week? Developing a chance of maybe a little bit more rain Tuesday, Wednesday?
Even starting as early as Monday, we could see maybe a morning shower and then some strong thunderstorms in the afternoon. So as soon as Monday, we could find another chance for some action going on, lingering through much of the week. Actually, the opportunity going to be there.
That'd be nice. So what is
pretty much daily chances for showers or storms popping up here or there.
Is that like this past week then? Some tail end of something or some trough that crosses?
It's the same type of thing. We've got that mid-level trough. We've got some impulses coming through, the southerly flow of the moisture and the sea breeze all just sort of colluding and colliding and mixing it up in the bowl and firing them off.
All right. Sounds good. Which means that if we get the rain, that there might be some powerful stuff north of us, right? Like in central Texas, up in San Antonio or Houston, like early next week.
Yeah, they got a chance starting Monday in San Antonio, Dallas, Monday night, and up to Houston. Same story Monday night. Maybe in the afternoon on Monday, but yeah, they've got an opportunity throughout the week as well.
All right, Bill. Let's see here. Well, that's it for the AccuWeather forecast for today. Let's just round it out to a cool triple digits. What do you say? So the forecast for Mid-Valley, 98-ish. Yeah, somebody's bound to hit 100 today, tomorrow, Sunday as well. Or do you throttle back on Sunday because of clouds?
I think Sunday might be mid and upper 90s. Maybe not, maybe holding off the triple digits Sunday with the clouds coming in at times.
Well, I got nothing on the national day calendar. It's like today we celebrate paper clips. Like that's it. Really? Even paper clips get their own day. Like, wow. All right, pal. We'll check you a little later. That's AccuWeather.
All right.
Meteorologist Jason Caterina. Again, the highs triple digits, and just round it out, man. It's like mid 90s to triple digits today in the morning. And that is your AccuWeather forecast.
Next month.
KURV coming up in just a few minutes, about 3-4 minutes. I'm going to share with you a conversation I had with the leader from Region 1 Education Services for Public Schools in Texas. And you know who that is. You guys keep up with the news. That's Dr. Dan King. Dr. King. Dr. Dan King had a conversation with him on the explosive demand for career and technology training, specifically on for anyone who knows how to erect a structure, work the air conditioner systems, the HVAC systems for that, electrical systems, the wiring, plumbing, all that, because of the rapid expansion of the Valley economy. Yeah, that is big time in demand. Dr. Dan King from Region 1 and how public schools are meeting that demand that's coming up in about 3-4 minutes on the Valley's Morning News. A new state law that requires app stores to get parental consent from users under age 13 will now be allowed to go into effect thanks to a federal court ruling.
It's a victory for Texas. State Senator Angela Paxton's App Store Accountability Act will now be allowed to go into effect. It requires app stores to verify users' ages and obtain parental consent for those under 13.
In the real world, minor children are not signing contracts with businesses. But in the digital world, they do this every single day.
The Fifth Circuit Court did not provide an explanation for their decision to stay the lower court decision that blocked the law from going into effect. The lower court had sided with the tech industry that the law violated free speech rights. In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
And in this health note from Southern California at UC San Diego, they say that they have developed a wearable ultrasound patch for high-risk pregnancies.
They say it's soft, comfortable, and can monitor a fetus continuously for hours at a time. In clinical tests, the patch was able to detect abnormal fetal signals that prompted medical intervention. The study is published in Nature Biotechnology. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us. Conversation with the chief over at Region 1 Education Services for Public Schools in South Texas. Big demand for career and technology training. Folks that know how to work on HVAC and electrical and plumbing and erect structures, all that because of the fast-growing economy. Are we keeping up? Can we keep up with the demand from industry in South Texas? It's a good problem to have. That's next on 710 KURV.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
They say that actions speak louder than words. So we'll let the all-new state-of-the-art BMW of FAR show you what that means. Choose from an incredible selection of new BMWs and get exceptional service today. Right now, you can lease a 2026 BMW X330. Drive for just $599 a month with $52.29 due at signing. Come see why BMW has always been known as the ultimate driving machine. Visit the corner of Expressway 281 and Owasso in FAR. Come find your new BMW today at BMW of FAR, a Bird Ogden Auto Group dealership.
Improve your overall health and enjoy a better quality of life with Dr. T's Primary Care. You're trying to set some new weight goals. If you're too moody or stressed out or just tired and trying to get more sleep, Dr. T's Primary Care can help you with all of that. And more if you're worried about things like low testosterone. Dr. T is a primary care provider from the sniffles to the flu and also offer menopause treatment, peptide treatment, and IV vitamin infusions. McAllen area call 956-803-0058 and in Harlingen 956-368-5247. That's drt'sprimarycare.com.
No artificial intelligence around here. It's real intelligence, real news, real talk. The Rio Grande Valley's news and talk station, News Talk 710 KURV, and the Radio Parami app.
News Talk 710 KURV is your one and only station in the Valley for Houston Astros play-by-play. Catch them weeknights and weekends on 710 KURV. Up next, it's the Brewers 640 broadcast on 710 KURV, made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women. Welcome back, Dr. Dan King with Region 1, one of the service centers for education in the state of Texas, and just had a regular, I believe it's he said monthly sit-down with the DEA Commissioner, Mike Morath. All the chiefs gathering and talk about about enrollment and new programs and incentives for teachers and schools. And let's start with career and technology, Dr. Dan King. With the economy around here and all these thousands of jobs, and some of them require individuals to know how to put together a structure, erect a structure, and of course everything related to that structure, from electrical and plumbing and AC systems, the career and technology courses that we have at schools. So tell me about what's being talked about at your level, upper management and service and the districts. Are we meeting the need for all the industry that's quickly coming to South Texas with all this career and technology?
So I can't say that we're currently meeting the need for all the new shift, the big shift, especially in Cameron County right now. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of work being done in that direction. The opportunities for today's students, high school students, I think are to find high paying jobs right here in the Valley are better than they ever have been. And so many students now are graduating from high school already ready to go to work in some of these areas. One of the, of course, healthcare is a big demand area. So a lot of the schools have certified nursing assistant programs, pharmacy tech, patient care technician, things like that students can then stack to going into nursing, or they can go on right on to work, or they can work while they're going to college. And then in the construction industry, like you mentioned, there's different training programs and certification programs, heating and air conditioning, for example. And of course, a lot of schools have law enforcement pathways. Law enforcement, of course, is a huge here in our area, both the federal agencies, local law enforcement, And the more the federal agencies hire from our local police and sheriff's departments, then the more jobs open up in those areas. So there's constant in those areas, but also welding, pipe fitting, things like that. Different things in the there's even like even some of the small schools have precision manufacturing programs. And so there's quite an array of industry certifications that can be stacked on that don't limit someone to that career in particular. There's students that get a certification, for example, in precision manufacturing, and then go on into engineering to study engineering with that, or some go right to work. So it's still the student's choice from there. So I think kind of gearing up to meet the kind of demand there is in Cameron County. A lot of it similar to what even the colleges face is the expense of the equipment, finding the instructors that can teach those courses, the building spaces designed to teach some of those. So we still have there's still a huge need to scale up in some of these areas.
Yeah, I would imagine that chasm gets wider regularly. How does industry communicate back to Region 1 or the superintendents at local schools that could be providing those pathways and increasing those programs or working with Texas workforce? Like, how does that message reach the front lines of industry, Cameron County, at the coast, at the port, and everything else taking place there, SpaceX? How does that demand get communicated back through the education pipeline? I know it's very strong with EDCs and the colleges, but back to where it would benefit us most to have the kids already start training for those jobs they could take up in 4 or 5 years. How does that demand come back?
So first of all, a lot of the programs are offered dual enrollment to the colleges. And so the colleges have their advisory committees for the different industries with industry representation. The school districts are also required to have industry input and have their advisory committees for the different occupation areas. So private industry sits at the table as they're doing that. In addition, the local workforce boards of Lower Rio Workforce in the Upper Valley, Cameron Workforce Solutions in the Lower Valley. They also provide a lot of advising and guidance. Region 1 coordinates a tri-agency council that has representation from public ed, higher ed, and the workforce board, and engages with private industry also in working to advise districts on which pathways have the need, have the demand, pay well, and really working on strengthening the pathways that and partnerships between the high schools and the colleges.
We have, and I went looking for these numbers. I had to look up the graduating numbers, but I knew that we had about 400,000, more than 400,000 huercos in the Rio Grande Valley. That's just us in the valley. I know Region 1 for you is a much.
That's actually the Region 1 number,
okay,
all the way Brownsville to Laredo, and it also includes some out of the valley students because in our number, for example, Idea Public Schools headquarters is in the valley. And so their students that are in San Antonio or Houston are included in that count.
And the reason I was looking at that number, and I went looking right now for the graduating class. So the graduating class is slightly less than 10% of about 7-8%, 25,000, 30,000 huerquillos are graduating today. So imagine putting into the workforce, and not all of them obviously can be career in technology, but if maybe a fourth of that or a 1/5 of that, 7, 8, 10,000 huercos would be ready to build, ready to take on the cutting of steel and all that, because the demand is off the charts. They might not be ready to do it immediately, but they could be side by side, like journeyman, something like that, learning electrician, all that stuff. We probably have some of the numbers that could meet the demand right now, because the expansion of industry is just crazy fast right now at the port.
Yeah, so there's, like you mentioned, tens of thousands of students graduating every year, just in the Region One area, which is Brownsville, Laredo, and so working to get those students to be ready for entry into college, the workforce, or military. One of the challenges with a lot of the higher paying certification areas is again having adequate equipment to take those larger numbers through, and adequate instructors, for that. Similar to there's a perennial shortage of nurses, for example, and the colleges are challenged. One of the biggest challenges is nursing faculty, because the pay in the industry is much higher than the colleges pay faculty, and they face challenges finding the faculty, for example.
Dr. Dan King is with Region 1 Education Services for all the public schools in our South Texas region, that and other neighboring counties that make up Region 1. You had mentioned off air, Dr. King, that there are incentives for schools to produce those career and technology ready students. So tell me a bit about that. What are the incentives?
Well, the first one is that this is part of, for high schools, part of their rating as far as earning an ABC, D or F, comes from what percent of their students are college, career, or military ready. And so having these certificates in areas that are approved by the Texas Education Agency is one way they can earn those points to up their grade. And then there are financial incentives. For the financial incentives, they pretty much have to pass their college entry exams, and so there's a lot of work on getting students ready for that as well.
I wanted to get your thoughts on a report that popped up this week on about 78,000 less kids enrolled in public schools in Texas. We have 5.5 million kids, like over 5 million kids, 5.5 million kids enrolled in public school in Texas. 78,000 doesn't seem like much, but somebody wrote up a report said we have 70,000 less little tushes in seats in public schools in Texas. 80% of that are Latinos, and we probably know why that's the case. The rest would be homeschool and private school. Your thoughts on that number? Because it doesn't seem to be quite significant when it comes to the overall census of public education.
For the first time in many years, enrollment in public education, that includes school districts and charters combined, is down this year, and after climbing for decades. And so, as you mentioned, some of the changes in border enforcement and things like that play into it some. But the other thing is that all across the country, this is actually, Texas is one of the later states to get into an enrollment decline. But we have declining birth rates. That's a good portion of it. The birth rates here in the Valley have declined significantly over the last decade. And that's true nationwide. And here in the Valley, we had always gone counter the nationwide trend until the economic downturn of 2008. For the first time, the birth rate among Latinos dropped significantly and did not rebound. And so it used to be significantly above the non-Latino birth rate. Now it's fairly comparable, and they're both birth rates among all groups are pretty much declining. So the birth rate is part of it. In Texas, that was being offset by the moving to Texas phenomenon. So many people moving into Texas and bringing their children with them. This year is the first year that was not enough to offset both the birth rate and maybe students that do not show up in school because maybe either they've left the country or maybe being fearful of going to school.
Thank you, Dr. King. Appreciate your time. You will be well, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Dr. Dan King is Director of Region 1 Education Services for Public Schools. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. Join us online. Radio Para Mi is the free app that we can listen on your smartphone. The 7 o'clock hour of the morning news, producer Freddie also will post the broadcast on the 710 KURV YouTube Live, Facebook Live. You can rewind there as well.